Hello, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Banter, the podcast aimed at bringing you your dose of murder relaxation. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode.
Either Burt's Bees or Die.
Or Die. Hello, Emerald City. What's doing?
Finally use that.
Well, yeah. I wonder if anybody knows where that's from. We won't talk about that yet.
Honestly, I'll give you $100 if you know what that's from.
No, we're not giving anybody $100 at this moment. But check back in like 2 years. We might give somebody $100.
We might have $100.
So, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of True Crime Banter.
Yep, hello.
It's been a while. As you guys can tell, I have my voice back for the most part. Not too congested anymore.
It wasn't even bad last time.
Actually, no, but it was like that week
That's
of
another
recording.
one of those things where only you noticed it.
Right.
But
well,
sure.
Yeah. And we are back. I hope you guys are happy. I sure am. What was the last episode we did? Lauren Cho?
Lauren Cho.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of good feedback on that, I think. I think a lot of people like that one.
I know. As time goes on, we're just getting like more comments, more messages, and I love it. I love all the interaction.
I love it.
I
love it.
I know it's trying. I feel like I apologize to some people because I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I just saw this, or I'm sorry, I got back to you late, or something. Like,
yeah.
It's really now being on the other side of it, I'm like, oh, it's actually pretty challenging, not impossible, but
trying
pretty
to keep up
challenging.
with everybody.
Yeah, because you have your own life, you're doing research, you're like, we're trying to do stuff in our own life, and
yeah.
Not that this isn't important either, but it's kind of hard to keep up. And I just don't want to make it seem like I'm not getting back to people because I'm not interested. So I get back late to people, but it's never because I'm forgetting you people. That's all. But I
don't believe a word she just said.
All
I hear is
love interacting with these people. I freaking love it. I love the messages. I'm like, oh my God, you listen, or I love that.
I was just going to sarcastically say that all I hear is you complain, oh my God, people are commenting like way too much. But
yeah, right.
That was,
never hear
no
me
such
say
thing
that.
for us.
Keep it coming.
Well, actually, I want to do this before because I will be taking the lead on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And just a little teaser for you guys. In this situation, or in this case today, I wanted... So you know the age-old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Mm-hmm.
This story is a situation where you keep your friends close, your enemies closer, and your family closest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sketchy.
Oh, you'll see. You will see.
Okay.
But before we do get into the actual episode, you've got some shout-outs and a bit of banter.
Yeah, do you want to start with banter first? I already have it up, so.
Yeah, all right.
I am also, this is coming from goodhousekeeping.com, you guys.
John Stamos.
John Stamos. So I figure since Easter is tomorrow.
It is, at the date of recording this, for those of you.
Saturday.
Because this is going to probably go up.
Maybe Monday?
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe on Easter
We'll see how
Day,
much time we have, yeah. But I was like, why don't we? I know, okay, so I'm not religious, right? You're not either, right?
Your name's Christian, though.
I know. People always get that confused. It doesn't mean anything. Anyway, so I know you and I are not, right? But
right.
Of course, there's churchy people, all that good stuff. So it's okay, they have their own Easter thing. But I was like, where the fuck did the bunny come from, right?
Okay,
so I was
all right.
why is there a bunny?
Interesting.
So I was like, let me look it up. And I did kind of this with St. Patrick's Day. No, what I do this for? I did this for
February 28th. Why February?
Yes, that's what it was. Okay, so I was like, oh, it's like another little holiday thing. So once again, goodhousekeeping.com. History.com reports. This is goodhousekeeping.com reporting. History.com reported that
right, I like this.
It
Good
was
start.
first introduced in the 1700s by German immigrants to Pennsylvania, who reportedly brought over their tradition of an egg-laying hare named Osterhase, or Osterhase from the old country. Legend has it this rabbit would lay colorful eggs as gifts to children who were good. So kids would make nests in which the bunny would leave his eggs and even sometimes set out carrots in case the hare got hungry. Remind you of any other holiday traditions? That's what it says. I just figured they mean
okay.
Christmas
All
when
right,
you
now-
leave out cookies.
yeah.
That's what I figure.
The first thing that came to mind when you said that name was
Osterhaus?
yeah
What?
was oh my gosh, you always remember the name more than I do.
What?
Dwight during the Christmas episode
Oh my God, Belschnickel.
Yes.
Belschnickel, yes.
from The Office. Oh my
What
gosh.
is it, impish or what
Yeah.
is it?
I again, these are the parts that you
And
remember.
then he smacks him with a
Yeah.
twig. Yeah. So anyway, so it says eventually the
Okay.
custom spread across America until it was a widespread Easter tradition. Over time, the Fables bunnies delivery expanded from just eggs to include other treats such as chocolate toys, such and such. So Easter baskets, that's how they became a thing. So
Okay.
yeah, so we have the Germans who
Thanks.
immigrated to
Germans.
Pennsylvania to thank for that.
We got a lot to thank for the Germans. A lot
Yes.
not to thank them for
Yes.
as well. But
We won't get into that. That is a heavy episode.
all right.
Do you want me to get into the shout outs really quick?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do, and actually, I got 2 shout outs as well. So,
Okay, it seemed like we had a lot more than I thought because I just had a lot of people privately messaging me, but they
Right.
weren't shout outs. So anyway, it's not that many. But Vivian Starr, she
Vivian.
said, just wanted to let you guys know I love your podcast. You two complement each other really well, and the Dennis Nielsen episode was wild with like 20 eyes.
Can I just say that she never compliments me at all? So
Who?
You. She said we compliment each other very well.
Oh, shut up. Anyway. And then she said, P.S. Being that you guys like Love Island, she said,
Oh,
you should
God.
check out Are You the One? It's
Okay,
similar and
well.
so good. And then in parentheses, she said, you can count this as a shout out if you want, smiley face.
Well.
Which is why I included this, yes. And then I, of course, her and I went back and forth for a while because I was like,
We're well aware.
We're
of what
well aware of Are You the One?
Too
yes,
aware.
binged every single one, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you guys should check those out too. if you need something new and stupid to watch.
Yeah, if you want
that's a
to
good
fry
one.
your brain just a little bit more after listening to us.
Yes. So then the next shout out, I only have a couple more, is Mess of Whimsy. She said, the not knowing is what makes me crazy. And this is her
In regards to.
the Lauren showcase.
Oh,
She said,
yes.
I can't imagine that being your family member not having answers. You guys are awesome. Keep it up. Last week was bananas. Dude look unhinged.
That's got to be Joel.
It
yeah,
it has to be. Yeah. So then I
agree with that too.
Texted back with her,
Sometimes
yeah.
the unknown is what kind of makes it a little more
yeah.
discomforting.
Yeah, and also super sad since Lauren's family has no answer
answer,
still,
yeah.
which we emphasized in that last one. And then Nadia MCK05, she said, thank you so much for the shout out. So we shouted her out on the last one.
All right, Nadia.
And so she said, I screamed my house down, letting everyone know.
Well,
she
she's
said,
getting a little greedy right
I
now.
know. I'm delighted. Only podcasts that give shout outs to their fans. I'm like, are we the only ones? I'm not sure.
Do we have
might
fans?
be. I know. Maybe. Are you a fan? But
Speaking of fans,
Yeah.
Actually, well, no, I'll
What?
let you finish your point.
Okay.
Whether we're the only ones. or something,
And then a woman by the handle of moments_by_a_Russ said, I've binged your show, ! You've covered some wild cases, ! Keep it coming, !
All right.
Yes. Those are our
All right.
little
Well, just to follow
shout-outs.
up on the whole fans thing,
Yeah.
we did get some fan mail from my sister.
We did. Oh,
We
he's
don't
not
have
wearing it. Where
he's
is he?
because he's not in here, and
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
want him in
Yeah,
here
yeah.
right now.
He's a little distracting.
So if
We'll
you guys
show him on the next one.
Yeah, if you guys are following us on Instagram, we
Yeah.
posted a little like boomerang, I think is what those are
Yeah.
called,
Uh-huh.
and it was dog shirts with our True Crime Banter logo.
It's a
on
dog
them.
onesie,
Yes,
y'all.
they were-
There was 2 of them. We had like a mint one, the mint
So-
color, and then a navy one.
So thank
he
you,
rocked both of
Kaylin
them.
Lane, again.
Kaylin Lane
Yes,
from California.
I've got 2 shout outs.
killing it. Okay, go for it.
So one is from YouTube.
'Kay.
It is Emma Geller, and she said, "Y'all are awesome. You remind me of Crime Weekly." Smiley face, which I don't know exactly.
I don't know, but I'm gonna check it out.
Yes, and then she said, "Wouldn't be surprised if you got a big following!" Exclamation point.
Ooh.
Also love that your cases aren't covered as much as.
I hope she's right.
by other
I hope
big
we
true
do
crime
get a big
channels.
following.
I agree.
Put that good juju
And yeah,
out
one
there.
of the things we do try to do is cover smaller or lesser known cases.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much space for all of it.
Also, I know, and also too, there's so many cases that have been covered. It
Countless
seems,
times.
yeah, that it's like, why do another one? If somebody already has, I know before we started this, as a listener of like a binge-worthy, obsessive listener of every podcast ever, of everything, documentaries, anything.
Yeah, you'll literally listen to the same episode, not but same case, like
no, exactly.
17
yeah, because I want to hear all of it. So it's like, but then when I hear one that I haven't heard of, I'm like, oh hell
like,
yeah. So I'm kind of glad that maybe we're kind of like that.
Yeah. And I think we do a good job. Like you've said, there's certain cases that as time goes on, you get updates or there's new breakthroughs in the case that actually give reason to covering it.
Right.
And today's case is actually one of those.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. And then just before we get into the case.
Yes.
We
also,
got
thank you. Her name was Emma.
Emma Geller.
Emma.
Yes.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
That's
and that was
so
on
nice of
YouTube.
you.
And then last but not least, on Apple Podcasts, we got another review.
Ooh.
Another 5-star review, too. Thank you, by the way. By NBB1996.
Okay.
And they say, honestly, I love how the podcast transitioned to where it's more conversation-like.
Oh.
Triple exclamation point. They are doing fantastic, and I love the case choices so far. Also, one rad thing this podcast does is post about missing BIPOC, which is, I'm guessing, Black,
Persons of
Indigenous,
color.
and people of color.
Yep.
So excited to grow with this podcast.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember. Did I read that one? Did you show me that one?
I showed you that.
I don't remember
but
that.
I showed you.
You showed me the other
YouTube
one
first. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. Wow, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I really. I'm glad.
That's so
I'm glad people are
cool.
appreciating.
Well, thank you.
The effort we're putting
You guys
in.
are awesome. Seriously. Coming from someone who had no friends, this is so nice that there's actually people out there.
Had no friends.
Anyway. This is just really nice. You guys are great. Thank you.
I agree. So thank you all for that. If you guys do want to get some shout outs, feel free to interact with us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Again, reviews on Apple Podcasts are going to be read every single time.
Yep.
As long as they're not graphic or mean. Or even if they are mean, I don't care.
Or sexy.
Ooh, maybe even, I'll read it twice in 2 different voices. Follow us at True Crime Banter on Instagram. And also, we did get a comment saying, try to listen to us on Android or something. So I think obviously you can listen via YouTube and Spotify if you download the apps, but I will see if Google Podcasts is an option for us and try to get us on there. I've been saying that. I've said that a few times now, and now I've gotten a request for it. So.
I didn't know that. Like, what can't you listen to on Android? I didn't realize it was that exclusive.
I just think some people don't realize that there's certain apps available on iPhone and Android.
Okay.
So Stitcher obviously is available on Android, which we are on.
Yeah.
And so, if you are listening on Android or want to listen to us on an Android phone, download Stitcher or, again, Spotify.
Yeah,
Give
or
us a
even
rating.
YouTube.
Or YouTube.
I'm sure you got to have YouTube. Everyone's got YouTube.
The tube. All right.
The tube.
Well, enough of that garbage. Yes. By garbage, I mean
us.
Us just going back and forth. And let's go ahead and get into the story.
I'm so excited.
It's Christmas 2014. 44-year-old Tracy Nessel is inside her home when she hears a loud gunshot on her back porch. Nothing new, as her husband was known to fire off warning shots to any animals that attempted to invade the property. The only issue with this, though, is that her husband never came back in. So this story first begins well over 30 years ago in Soap Lake, Washington. That's a town located in Grant County with a population of less than 2,000 people.
Wow.
So another small town out of here.
It's pretty much just a rest stop.
Yeah, here in
it's
Washington.
Not even a town.
It is a little north of Moses Lake, so central eastern Washington.
Okay.
On one side of town lived the well-off family of the McNamaras. Tim McNamara was considered the family patriarch, so he has a son and a daughter, but he was most well known for owning an apple farm that, over the decades, put him well into the Millionaires Club.
It makes sense. Eastern Washington apples.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, I think we're the apple capital of the country.
The country.
Yeah.
On the other side of town lived Tracy Nessel. Now, Tracy, she's 22 years younger than Tim. So while Tim was thriving in his apple farming business, Tracy was just a young little girl having to grow up fatherless.
Oh.
And nothing I could find could specifically say or point to what happened to her father. They just made it a point that she grew up from or I guess came up from a broken family.
Okay.
Which this will play a part moving forward in the case, which is why, obviously, I'm bringing it up. In an interview back in 2018, Tracy Nessel, she described that she never really knew the McNamaras growing up, but she always wondered what it was like to be them. She said she'd seen them around town, but there was never really any real, I guess, interactions between them. And it almost kind of reminds me of an old fairy tale or like Disney movie, I guess, where it's like this orphan child living out on, from a broken family, just trying to get by. And then you got like the rich people in the castle. It's like, oh, I wonder what it would be like just to be them for a day.
Yeah.
So as time goes on, there's not really much to make of these early goings. At 17 years old, Tracy Nessel moves across the country to North Carolina, where she finds herself a husband, and the town of Soap Lake is far behind her.
Okay.
That is until Tracy gets something in the mail. What is it, you might ask? Well, it's an envelope. Typical.
Ooh, exciting.
An invitation, actually, from Soap Lake and from the family of Tim McNamara. Tim's daughter, Jennifer, was getting married, and apparently the family wanted her there. So Tracy, with that childhood desire of, I guess, longing to know what it's like to be a McNamara, she accepted the invitation.
Hold on real quick.
I know where you're going with this already.
What? Tell me, what do you think I'm going to say?
Why is she getting an invite?
Yeah, who the fuck is she? She's
right,
just,
exactly. Now,
how do they even know her?
This is where maybe
weird.
Right. This is a situation that when I first was researching this, I thought, I guess in a town of only 2,000 people, like there's probably not really like cuz the McNamara family wasn't this like unreachable family. They I guess were very attainable, or they were part of the community. I mean, you got to think.
I feel like I can imagine. It's not like they're royalty, but yeah. I mean.
So I would think that, they could probably invite everybody in town and have a grand old wedding, So it is weird, though. Trust me, this came across my mind, too, and I'm like, why is she getting an invite?
I'm going to let you continue.
Now, I'm just saying that because that's what I originally thought, but I think there's a little more underlying information we're going to find out in the future.
Yeah.
That there's speculation involved.
Well, I trust you since you did this case.
Yes, there's speculation involved as to, that might point to why she got an invite.
Okay,
but
I'm excited.
We'll get into that.
Keep going. So,
to the wedding, Tracy went solo, though she was still married to her husband at the time. And at the wedding, she comes across none other than the Mac Daddy himself, Tim McNamara.
Daddy.
I said Mac Daddy because obviously he's this family patriarch. He's the big man in town.
Yeah.
And his nickname was Mac.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay, gotcha.
But I'm still going to refer to him as Tim.
Okay.
Now, Tim, although also still legally married at the time, he was actually in the middle of a divorce. And as Tracy describes the night herself during that interview back in 2018, she says, the sparks just flew. It was a physical attraction, but it was more. We were spiritually how do I say it? Spiritually connected. And then she says we were soully connected, like by the soul. And then here's where things get kind of weird. She says, he was my dad. He was my best friend. He was my lover. He was everything in one.
Oh,
so the dad thing is weird, but that's kind of where I brought up the whole fatherless, because he was a father figure to her, is what it sounds like. To say he was my dad is like
maybe the wording could have been better.
Yeah.
But
But I think I got the point, though, where I was like,
continue. Okay. We all got daddy issues. Keep going.
Exactly. So after this wedding, Tracy went back home to North Carolina, where she would eventually end her marriage with her husband, while Tim was finalizing his own divorce back in Soap Lake.
Timing.
Yeah, and soon as Tracy's marriage was finalized, or I guess divorce, sorry, she was back in Soap Lake herself.
Okay.
Yeah, now
Things are moving.
Tim and Tracy's relationship was very complicated. Less than a year after dating, Tim started transferring all of his properties into Tracy's name, putting her name on the deed of everything that he owned.
Okay.
So these properties included the apple orchard that made Tim the talk of the town.
Is this, I'm sorry, was he putting her name on stuff instead of his name or with his name?
With his name.
Okay.
So
Okay.
co-ownership, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Okay.
Rumors say that Tim was worried his children would end up selling his apple orchard should, he pass away.
Okay.
And he wanted to keep the orchard in the McNamara name, though. And he
Okay.
believed that Tracy would be the proper person to do so.
Okay.
Which, to this date, it is still in his name.
Okay.
Tim's friends and family, they weren't very big fans of this relationship with Tracy.
Okay.
And I wrote here, are there any guesses as to why?
She's 22 years younger than him.
That's the first thing I
mean-
wrote. Well, 22-year age gap.
Yeah, of course.
I put
Some
in
people have
quotes.
reservations.
Yeah, I put in quotes, taking all his land, because
Yeah.
obviously,
I mean, it's not really taking it if they're still married and they're
No,
both.
but
you
maybe,
know?
it kind of seems like, are you just in it for the
Right,
lifestyle?
but if you're somebody who's listening to this and you've watched a million of these and listened to a million of these, you're instantly like, motive.
Right,
Motive.
yep.
Yeah, because we don't know how this is going to end. At least I don't know this case.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, 22-year age gap, maybe taking his land or...
It's giving me like life
convincing him.
insurance vibes.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Well, the main reason is because Tracy's father is speculated to be a gentleman named Denny McNamara, who is
Wait.
Tim's brother.
He married his niece?
Bingo.
Ew.
So
what the
again, speculation,
Wow.
but it is like I don't want to say confirmed, but everybody just assumes. She even says, yes, he was my uncle. In these interviews, he's like, yes, yeah, he was my uncle. Mm-hmm, yeah. So,
This.
yeah. So now when Tracy describes Tim as her dad and her best friend, her lover, her everything,
Oh.
in one, he
my
was
God.
also her uncle. I know it.
Wow, he's everything to her.
Everything.
Oh,
in one.
So I know in some states, this is so gross, that incest is actually like legal.
Right. So
Does
is.
this count?
No.
I'm gonna throw up. I
Um,
can't even believe I'm even
incest,
discussing like
usually-
legalities of this.
yeah, usually it's like one. You have to be like 3 degrees away.
What does that even mean?
As in like, she's only 1 degree. She's like, her dad is his brother. So it would have to be
like
gosh,
a second
I don't know,
cousin.
like a third cousin would have to be.
So this
the
is
first.
not even disputable. This is straight up relative.
So eventually,
like,
yeah, they
this is
never
fucking
get
gross,
legally
y'all.
married here in the
See?
States.
Okay, a town under 2,000, you're gonna date a cousin eventually. I'm just saying. Okay.
So by the end of 2012, basically all of this took place in 2012 at first. This whole beginning of their relationship back in Soap Lake. And by the end of it, the entire community of Soap Lake no longer revered Tim McNamara as this guiding light of the town, I should say.
Well, yeah,
He's now the old man who let some woman 22 years younger than him convince him to give her the right to his land, his property, who also just so happens to be his
Yeah, why are
niece.
we saying some woman?
Right. Well, yeah. So things
Ew.
are a little, like I said, very complicated.
Oh my
And so Tim and Tracy, they did what any rational couple would do to escape the discomfort of Soap Lake, and they moved to Belize.
God. Okay. YOLO, I guess.
In Belize, they buy a 50-acre farm, also with Tracy's name on the deed, and they attempt to start a bed and breakfast. And they also, down there, get married. So,
Okay, it's
they're making it
legal
official.
to marry your
and this is
uncle
where
down there.
actually things kind of get confusing.
Oh, now
well,
it's getting
well,
confusing.
get confusing in that sense because they did get
no.
married, quote unquote, but it is still illegal down there to actually marry somebody that's only 1 degree away from you.
But they don't know that down there. Because you don't have to
Exactly.
prove it
Yes.
or whatever.
And so there is some, as we move forward in the case again, there's some legality questions going on with who owns what. So, yeah, all of this within the first year
So
down
fucking
in
weird.
Belize. Gotta love it. So here's the issue: life in Belize was not all that they were hoping it to be.
Okay.
Not even 2 years into their time there, Tracy describes that they were starting to run low on cash, that the bed and breakfast never got up and going like they hoped it would, and at one point they were illegally logging on their property. So cutting down trees, I guess selling it for, I guess, firewood or something, which she, in this interview back in 2018, she was like, yeah, the National Forestry Department or whatever down there in Belize, they were basically getting ready to knock on our door and take everything we had.
So they don't want you cutting down trees, but you can marry your uncle.
Bingo.
Gotcha.
As long as they don't know he's your uncle.
Awesome, Belize. Good job, guys.
Well, that's not the worst thing that was happening to Tim at the time, though.
Oh, great.
Because, to make matters worse, Tim's troubles back in Soap Lake were starting to follow him to Belize, as his granddaughter now at this time was accusing him of sexual molestation.
Why am I not surprised?
Right?
This fucker's already marrying a 22-year-old
And
you're
whether,
related
exactly, whether it actually happened or not, it's not a good look when you're already marrying your niece.
to.
I'm just saying.
That's already a bad start.
Like, yeah, it's tough to defend
Fuck.
yourself that I would never do anything to my family.
Yeah, right.
When you're doing stuff with your family.
Literally. Yeah. Gross.
So these accusations lead us into December of 2014. Tim's heart is heavy as he's trying to cope with the thought of being looked at as some sick creep who touches his grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, might I add, marrying your niece does not help that situation.
Yes. Yep, not a good defense.
But in these weeks leading up to Christmas, Tim, he reaches out to his children back in Soap Lake in a last-ditch effort to make amends. So I guess over the years, Tim, I should say over the couple years that he was down in Belize, he grew further and further apart from his own children. But it was, I guess, not out of character for him to be doing this. How do I want to say this? Tracy was catching Tim, like sneaking back onto his computer while they were working at this weird bed and breakfast to send emails back and forth with his children. So he was
Okay.
growing further and further apart. These accusations kind of come up, and then he's trying now to make amends with his children and be like, hey, I'm just trying to be the best that I can to you, and I'm sorry for what's been happening over the past couple years, but I love you and I want to make things up.
So she's catching him communicating with his own kids.
Right. Not really.
Which
I
is-
don't want to say catching him because that
that's
sounds
why
like, how dare you be doing that?
Yeah.
It was almost like it was out of character for him to be doing that. And so it's almost like he was maybe not hiding it. Maybe catching him is the wrong thing. But she noticed that he was making an effort now to
Okay.
reach out to his children.
Out of nowhere?
That's what it kind of seems like.
This just happened to be at the same time that his grandkid was like
Right. Accusing
saying
him.
this.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, and there's
Weird
even
timing.
there's emails between him and his granddaughter. And he's like, I would never do that to you, and she's like, hey, you're the adult here. I don't have to explain anything for what you've done. So again, there was never
How old was she at this point? Do you know?
I think by now she was probably 18 or 19.
Okay.
Because he was 66, I
Oh,
believe.
fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Gross.
So, in these emails, actually in his last email that he wrote to Caleb, his son, one of the lines written and most hauntingly reported nowadays on this case or situation is, I sure loved being your dad. So it almost like a past tense.
Mm-hmm.
I loved
Mm-hmm.
taking care of you. So this is where the teaser that I kind of said earlier
Yeah.
comes into play. After sending this final email to his son, Tim McNamara steps out onto their back porch there in Belize. And Tracy, she says it's common for him to go out back and fire a warning shot into the sky. I guess I don't know what it's like to live in Belize,
Yeah.
but she said there used to be like strangers that would wander on their property or strange animals.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically get them away.
Right.
And so Tim, he walks out, he shoots the gun, and that's that. After a few minutes, Tracy walks back to check on him, and what does she find? Tim laying on the ground, seemingly lifeless, with a gunshot wound to his head.
Okay.
It took nearly 3 hours for emergency help to get to the residence.
Dear Lord.
And only a few hours after they did, he was pronounced dead. So here's the issue, though. The reason it took 3 hours for the medical unit to arrive was not because of where Tim and Tracy's house was in Belize. It's not because the emergency support in Belize isn't adequate enough to, I guess, respond in a timely manner. No, the reason it took 3 hours for Tim to get emergency care after shooting himself in the head is because Tracy, instead of calling 911 as any sane person would, she laid there and cuddled with him. And she was trying to talk to him all while he was basically bleeding to death.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's an interview that she did with Crime Watch Daily back in, I think, 2018 as well, that she's describing this scene. And the interviewer is asking her, why didn't you call 911? And the entire time she's just like, I didn't think to. I didn't know. I just kind of, I wanted to be there with him. And it's the weirdest interview moment that I've watched in a while, because it's like she can't explain why she didn't call 911.
Yeah.
She knew that was a thing down there, whether, it might not be 911 specifically,
Their version of it, of course.
But yeah, she's like, I couldn't, I don't know, I didn't want to leave him. I wanted to be there with him.
Gotcha.
So Tracy, she calls Tim's son Caleb, tells him that Tim committed suicide. And then at the hospital, so Caleb flies down on the first flight. The story goes that Caleb, first thing he asked was, did he try to kill himself? And of course, she said yes. So at the hospital, after Caleb flies down to Belize, investigators, they talk to both Caleb and Tracy separately, trying to figure out, get as much info about the situation as possible. And at some point, it's reported that after Caleb talked to the police down there, he told Tracy that she better get herself back to the U.S. as soon as possible. Again, I say it's reported because, so I heard this on one of the videos I used to research this. And then I kept trying to find where I heard this, and I could not find the moment that I heard this.
Okay.
But yeah, there's...
Really quick, who's taking care of the farm in the U.S. when they're down here?
I don't think anybody's really... they probably have a system
like a staff
set up.
or something?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Because they're down there for
kind of
years.
Yep.
So, okay.
Set it and forget it type thing.
Okay.
And yeah, so there's, like I said, she was basically told by Caleb, his son, that you might want to head back to the U.S. because Belize police and investigators started thinking that Tracy might have something to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Is there an extradition rule?
So Tracy, she did end up heading back to Soap Lake on
Okay.
the next flight, is what it sounds like, or basically as soon as she could. And yes, there was.
Does the U.S. have that?
Yes.
Can we
So,
extradite you back down to Belize for that?
yes and no. What I have
you're a
written here that
citizen.
Belizean police did issue a warrant for her arrest in 2015, so not long after this, but she was never extradited.
Oh.
So she could be, but they never.
Was she already in custody here?
No.
Oh, weird.
No.
Okay.
And she can't. I guess you can't. How could she be put into custody?
I think you can be held here while they come get you, while they figure it out. I think if you're it's not like you're allowed to be free while you're on suspicion of murder. They
Right.
can hold you here and then bring you back down there.
Right, and this is kind of, I think, a situation where it's up to the country that the person is currently residing in
Yeah.
to say, okay, we're going to help this other country out,
Right.
seek this person out, and then hold them
Yeah.
to extradite them.
Okay.
So the U.S. said, and it kind of makes sense, I guess, in a way where it's like, well, she's an American.
Yeah.
You're saying that she did stuff in your country, but she's back here in America. We're not going to help you try to take one of our people, even though it's a situation.
Yeah,
you
but
know what I
it's
mean?
not obvious she killed him. So
Yes.
it's not like she's a mass murderer and it's obvious and they're trying to get her back down there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Until
so-
until they can prove their case,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so she Tracy, she made it back to Soap Lake. The daughter and son of Tim McNamara, so Caleb and Jennifer is the daughter's name, they ended up filing a wrongful death lawsuit against Tracy because they believe that she killed their dad.
Okay, so now she's got shit going on in both countries.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and they think she killed her dad in order to collect the life insurance and obviously ownership of his properties. So not only here's the interesting thing is not only was there one policy of life insurance out on Tim, he had two life insurance policies.
And how much were they?
They were like $500,000 apiece.
Okay.
So
people have definitely killed people for less. Yeah.
Much less.
And you get the businesses, and you know what I mean? Like, it's not just the life insurance.
Right.
Like, all this shit, all this other stuff is worth shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the issue or the weird thing about this lawsuit that they filed against Tracy, so, you know, Caleb and Jennifer, is that they had to do it via a civil lawsuit, a wrongful death lawsuit. They couldn't, it wasn't a criminal lawsuit because nothing in America here or nothing in Washington State was criminally done. So they can't file a criminal charge against her. So that's where the wrongful death lawsuit comes into play. And there's a few things. It's really interesting because most of the, I guess, other researchers, podcasts, YouTube channels that have covered this case, this all happened, or they usually covered it a few years ago, and there was no update to the situation. So most people will understand that there was a lot of questions going around, or there was a lot of questions around this case because some interesting things, obviously it took place in Belize. It doesn't help that there's no real evidence or anything that you can look at. It's not a criminal case, so there's no, I guess, you know, there's no evidence to really look at here. There were the things about the situation down in Belize that happened is that their investigators are saying, listen, there was no gunshot residue on Tim's hands. There was no blood on Tim McNamara's hands at all.
And who's saying this?
The Belize police investigators,
okay.
Yeah.
Police.
They said, and actually this is something that the prosecutors up here are saying that the trajectory of where he shot himself was like in the back of the head.
I was going to ask you, when you said that he was found dead, I almost was like, where was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and also what kind of gun is a big thing too.
Right. So the gun that was used to kill him was in Tracy's name. But it was a household gun.
So it was just a handgun.
Yeah,
It wasn't like a rifle or
no,
okay, because some of
like
these
people
be
with the
weird.
shotguns. Like, he shot himself twice with a shotgun to kill himself.
Okay,
You're
right.
Like,
Obvious.
Yeah, no, it was, and prosecutors up here are saying, you know, in conjunction with the investigators down in Belize, that, hey, it all points to that he got shot in the back of the head at an upward trajectory because the person that probably shot him was shorter than him, a.k.a. Tracy.
That makes sense.
And for the most part, like I said, this case was in like litigation for years. It wasn't until just last month, March of 2022, that I actually went to trial.
Okay.
And after a 3-week trial, a Grant County judge found Tracy Nessel guilty in the killing of Tim McNamara.
Okay, so a judge found her guilty, so there's no jury.
Yes, because this is a civil trial.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, this is where that's where things are kind of interesting about this case.
Those are almost worse.
Right, because here's the thing. So all of his properties and everything were frozen during this litigation. So she couldn't obviously sell the properties, couldn't make any money off of it. However, she was still the recipient of his life insurance. So she had money, obviously, off of that. And so the judge over in Grant County found her guilty, and he ordered her to pay $3.2 million to Tim's son and daughter. And that is kind of where the case ends, is that she was finally, quote-unquote, convicted for it. But again, it's a wrongful death lawsuit, so she's not in jail. She's not, quote-unquote, a murderer. She just had to probably sell all of his property and pay them what she owed him.
So she's not in jail.
Nope. I don't believe so.
How are you convicted of murder and then you're just not in jail?
You know what?
Is it because it's in another country?
Hold on. So I just looked it up, and yeah, there's nothing to say.
How do you just get away with it? That's so weird.
That's maybe the difference of what a civil lawsuit versus a criminal lawsuit. Yeah. So there's a lot of weird things about this, and one of the weirdest little facts, I should say, about this situation, you kind of questioned it earlier, is why did she get an invite to the wedding in the first place? Because she was already married over in North Carolina before her and Tim ever had this relationship begin, and she for some reason was invited to the daughter's
she's
wedding.
Family. It's her cousin.
It could be, right? Now, another question that came up to me. Remember, I told you, and this is me kind of just going off of random facts that I have in my head about this case and random questions that I've had, and the case for the most part is over. But remember, I said that Caleb at some point told her, you might want to get back to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So Caleb, he obviously in this situation, he's thinking that she killed him.
Okay.
Right? But why would he be like, you might want to get back to the U.S. if he's like, you killed my dad for all of his shit. Like, fuck you. You're going to stay here. I know the police are looking into you. I want your ass to go to jail, So Tracy, and this is even weirder than anything's been so far.
Oh.
She says that going back to 1999, she would come back to Soap Lake every summer and was having a sexual relationship with Caleb.
What?
And she says that the night that Tim killed himself, I don't want to say killed himself, the night that Caleb flew down, they together had to, assure or reaffirm that it was him, identify the body, quote unquote. She said that Caleb stayed the night with her that night, and they had sex in the shower or something along those lines.
What?
Yeah.
The fuck?
And now I'm like, and she was asked, so you are saying that you had a relationship with Caleb? She was like, well, I don't know how you would say I guess a sexual relationship? Then yes. And that she was asking in an interview, and she's like, yeah. And now I'm like, so is that the reason why she was invited in the first place?
Are they in on it together? The dad dies and they both benefit from this, and then she took the fall?
Listen, the prosecutor for representing Caleb and Jennifer, the son and daughter of Tim, she was like basically saying this woman's batshit crazy, and she thinks she can say whatever she wants because she kind of really can, because it seems like, again, even though right now she's been, guilty of killing him, she's not really facing any damages, I suppose, or...
I don't even know. I'm, so lost right now. This is a lot.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It is a weird one, and that's where... And I think you're just confused because,
I'm still confused how you get away with this.
Right, that's what I was going to say, is that you're not facing any...
Okay, you owe $3 million, great. But you're still free? That seems weird. And then... Now that I know about this Caleb thing, has he ever been interviewed? Does he deny it?
Yes. Yeah, so
he's married?
He has a family? His lawyer on behalf of them is denying it for him.
Of course.
But yeah, it is a weird one. And again, like I said, a civil lawsuit is...
And gross and confusing and warped and incestuous, and there's so many words.
Dramatic.
Yeah, I'm just fucking nauseous.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things going on, and
I'm uncomfortable.
I'm going to go ahead and point you guys towards Googling, or I guess on YouTube, searching Tracy Nessel and interview or something along those lines, because her demeanor in all of this.
I'm going to Google it right after this because I don't know this one.
She is very much, you look at her and you can't read her at all. So she looks like somebody who...
Sociopath.
Right, but she looks like somebody who maybe is very spiritual and did feel like she found her person, quote unquote, in this world.
You mean her uncle?
So that's where, researching this, I was like, there are situations where people are really connected to family members. And I'm like, I wonder if they just confused the emotional connection that they had together as like how typical family members would have
But she
it.
was married, so she had to know what like love feels like outside of that.
Right.
Unless
right.
it
and
wasn't
maybe
like love.
this
I don't know.
whole again, she seems like a very spiritual type person. So when she found Tim, and even if she knew or there was rumors that she was his uncle or he was her uncle, that she just
Rumors
felt
or
like,
facts? Like,
well, yeah. Maybe she just felt like there was a connection still there and there was confusion.
I just can't.
Yeah.
Why is it that I feel like I can listen to like they were stabbed 95 times in the eyeballs? I'm like, cool. And then like you're telling me someone's fucking their uncle, and I'm like, I can't do this.
Right.
You need to turn
Well,
this off.
it's because you're a sane person in that sense
Kinda.
of the word.
Like, ew. Like, that's too much for me.
Yeah, in this interview, again, we'll watch it after this, and I point you guys towards it. It's so, it is like somebody that can't figure out what's going on with them inside. She looks very
Clearly
happy, but also
Is
when
it
she
her-
starts talking about Tim in an emotional way, she gets sad and upset.
Is this like kind of like Jodi Arias, where she's like off her rocker, but like she seems normal, but then like she has that look in her eyes where there's nothing there?
Or in this situation, when I'm watching it, she looks more like, if you're coming from the viewpoint that she killed him, it's more like you look in her eyes and you're like, you're fucking hiding something. But the rest of her is like just a normal, very, like I said, spiritual looking type person.
So
So
he just goes out on the deck and just kills himself with her there. Like, what if she had walked out? If she had seen him? Like,
Yeah, and obviously the defendants, defending attorneys
didn't leave a note. Nothing?
No, but that's where they say these emails back and forth with his children.
They're gonna read into it.
Yeah,
Maybe.
they think that is where, it was clear that he was upset and,
I'm sure
on
they
the
turn
verge of
it.
suicide. It wasn't good enough. She lost
Yeah,
a lawsuit.
good.
So, but yeah, there is again, go watch it because there's one moment where the interviewer says, "So he was your uncle," and she's just like, "Yeah, he was." Just like weirdly, like
Okay, I'm
you're
gonna
just
go
like,
watch
"Ugh,"
it.
So.
Everyone else go watch it too, because I don't want to feel uncomfortable by myself.
And yeah, and I
Everyone
don't
else
know what I
seems
was
to
just
be
gonna say there.
nauseous.
It is very definitely.
Good to
yeah.
know. Thanks for that weird fucking case.
Well,
right,
you're
right.
welcome.
That's great.
You're welcome,
Thank
everybody.
you, I think, for that. Yeah.
Well, we like to
Wow,
bring.
I'm gonna sleep really well after that. It's like I never looked my uncle in the eye again
Oh,
after this
God,
either.
Anyways, I hope everyone else enjoyed it. I know you loved that one, Christian.
Mhm.
You loved it.
Mhm.
Yeah, this has been a fun one. It's a weird one.
So
It is
fun.
so fun.
So fun.
Washington's got some weird people in it.
Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna do the next one. There's
True.
no uncles in this next
True.
one, guys.
True. All right. Well, that's gonna do it, I think, for this one.
Yep.
Unless you have anything else to add.
Nope. I'm
No?
just gonna spend the next day recovering from that.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This has been the True Crime Banter podcast,
Yeah.
and
We'll see you next time.
we'll talk to you then.
Bye.
Take care.